Hi, everyone. Welcome to Liberatory Love. I want to tell you a little bit about where I was a year ago, where I am today, and how I can best support you in your journey of spiritual, sensual, sexual awakening. And yes, those three things are completely interlinked. So 2 years ago at this time, I was just signing up to do a training, a year-long training in love, sex, and relationships with Layla Martin. And I just started putting out things online to get clients, even though I wasn't trained yet, just to see what people were coming with. And that was people coming out of COVID 2022. So a lot of just fear of intimacy again or shifted relationships. Then last year was this opening that I knew that I wanted to work on this intersection of religion and sexuality, but I also felt so afraid of this intersection. So the first year, I just put out that I was going to talk about grief, love, and creativity, since my journey has been deeply impacted by suicide and grief. And I didn't feel ready to talk about sexuality necessarily, but I was like, I can work with that. I can work with emotion. So last summer, what I did was just start with coaching. Once I was moving through my training, I just started with coaching friends, and I started with this video, Walking with Fire. And to me, it was this fear. It was like, oh, I'm even going to talk about this. I don't even know how to talk about this in a way that doesn't feel controversial yet. It felt so heavy. It felt so tense. It felt so scary. And I also had, during this process, split and was like, okay, I need my creativity work to be something different. An Elegance lab came forth. I also knew that my digital wellness work, which I was kind of combining with the coaching at that moment, needed to be something different, since that has a much more social justice lens and empowerment of us as people to reclaim our own bodily and human intelligence. And so I thought, the relationship work, it might just need to go on hold right now while I go through some of my own stuff in this journey. And this summer, as I hit this moment, which is my second year doing relationship coaching, as well as 2 years in really saying yes to this journey. I've been saying yes to it since I had a vision about it in 2018. But it's been since 2021 that I've been like, okay, we are committed. Like, I couldn't even apply for the program I was going to be in until July 15th that year, or August 15th, actually. And I was already reading about it in July, putting stuff out starting then. That's how much I was just like, I need to be here. I need to be working on this. So now, starting out this first official year, or second official year, but third year in terms of just saying yes to the journey, I can say it's only getting weirder. It's only getting deeper. It's only getting more fun. It's only getting richer. It's only getting more dazzly and silly and erotic and religious, for lack of a better word, for the word that I want to use. And this fear that I've had about religion and sexuality is actually becoming this like sounding like, fuck yes, keep going, you're doing it, babe. And that is something that I really did not think that I would have. I thought, like, I'm going into fire and I can't talk about this. And that just is so cool how much, when you are saying yes, I want to say this just not even about sexuality and religion, but about, like, since the people in my life are all people who are doing creative things, just the power of saying yes to what your intuition knows is true and not what your mind is saying is the limit. So that being said, I want to read from a book called Womb Awakening, which I think I'm going to do many, many videos on. And I want to just read this little passage called Journey to the Zero Point, and really just speak to the joy that's on my face today as I record this. There is so much. I have a longer video if you're interested. There's so much when it comes to starting to explore the intersection of religion and sexuality in our lives, and how we deal with our own code of ethics and our own personal laws and collective laws, and how we value who we are and how we're perceived and how we relate to desire. And so this joy doesn't come from uh, having easy answers to any of that. But this joy does come from the journey I've been on. Even when I was doing a certification, it's been very, very dark, very shadowy, very spiritual. There's been nuances since I'm trying to also work on the intersection of religious trauma and sexuality, and also my love of religion, not just religious trauma. And there hasn't felt like there's guidance there. And I really feel so my joy is that I'm like, okay, I am answering to a personal calling. And the through line is death. That's it. Through line is death. And there's so much joy in there for me. There's so much freedom because I think about death all the time, and I've thought about death since I was a child. And being in a state that's oriented around pleasure and oriented around aliveness and relationship, I was like, is my death orientation too much? Like, is this going somewhere? And I've had a very dark, heavy year as well in many ways. And I've pulled away and I've moved away from a lot of people so that I could process this, which is hard for me. I'm purposely wearing my gold glitter eye makeup today in this pink shirt because I like to be bright and bold and colorful. But all of that actually comes and has always come because I have an intimate relationship with death. And my brother's death only deepened that. And actually, I didn't feel like I had the tools to go through that. But as I deepen my relationship with death, so my relationship with intimacy is deepening. I think we all should have an intimate relationships with death, but on our own timelines. And so I am releasing that I need to be for everyone, or that I need to be a type of coach. And I'm just embracing that your girl is out here to work on love, intimacy, relationships, and death, because death goes along with all of that. Death of the soul, death of the body, death of the selves, the rebirths along the way. And as I read this book, there's just so much affirmation. And so this video is just one part encouragement to pursue your own depth. And the second is to work with me on it if you want to, or just receive this blessing over your life today, that thank God we don't have to surrender for this world, this culture that doesn't talk about death at all. It makes life so much harder to live because of it. Okay. This particular passage is not about, well, it's mostly not about death, but it is about this kind of spiritual framework from the feminine that is becoming guidance for me. But I have to say, before I found this book and some of the other books I'm reading that are surfacing now, it started with me continuously surrendering. And I really want to speak the words of the prayer that I prayed over and over and over, starting in the fall when I was feeling the most lost and feeling like my own program of support wasn't meeting me. And that prayer was, show me my codes. Show me, instead of, I was releasing this deep-seated belief that the greatest codes for me are coming from religious text. And I still value religious text, but I was releasing that and saying and acknowledging, I have codes that are here for me and my being. Please show me my codes. And so I just offer that prayer to anyone who's like, I'm starting a new path and it's scary and it's freaky and it's weird out here. It is scary and it is freaky and it is weird out here, and it's fun and delightful, and your goddess is going to meet you. And then shit will come into your life that you like are just affirming the things you've been praying about or thinking about or feeling about. And you're like, how is this here? And that's going to come because you're actually listening to the deeper soul knowledge and not just your thoughts thought about it. So, journey to the 0 point, just to tie this home and send encouragement and put down a marker on this weird map we're in to let you know where to find work in love, sex, relationships, and death. By the way, this book is written by a couple. The male is Azra Bertrand is a doctor, and the woman is someone who works with the womb, but this is written in a way that's very mystical. Infinite primordial creative intelligence is streaming through us at all times, and in fact created us and rests at the foundation of our being. Yet we have mostly forgotten it. Infinite primordial creative intelligence. For many people, the womb of creation feels like a black hole in its negative connotations, an infinite abyss, a place of death, transformation, darkness, fear, overwhelm, the unknown. It is the hidden shadow realm we dare not enter. Sound familiar? If you are watching this video, I'm assuming you've been here. We have forgotten she is filled with pure love, that she births and rebirths us, that this spiraling black vortex births the light. Womb awakening, which is something we all can experience, not just those of us who have wombs, is a journey to allow everything inside us that is not love to descend into the void in order to rebirth. It is the death and rebirth all shamanic traditions spoke of, the descent into the underworld, a sacred return to the 0 point, the origin of consciousness. Before patriarchy, it was clear that the cycle of death and rebirth was a deeply feminine process at its core. It was a return to the womb for both men and women. And as black holes birth light, so this journey into the womb transfigures and births us into radiant living light. The Great Shift of 2012, prophesied by the Maya, referred to this knowing that a cosmic birthing gate was opening, that we would enter a time of rebirth, entering the mother's cosmic womb. And for those of you who follow with human design and Gene Keys, 2027 is another significant year that they say will be another time of kind of energetic or spiritual awakening. The science of black holes show that when we are on the event horizon of the dark mother, everything we have known or think we are starts to destabilize, wobble, and fall apart. Going over the edge I meant to pause there. Because this is the place where people, having now had a year of coaching, now the first year I was just throwing it out, grief, love, creativity. I knew what I'd be doing was going to be disruptive, but I didn't know. I thought it would just be like comforting. And then having people walk into my space in the last year, now I can say this with like absolute certainty. If this resonates with you, we are most likely going to be a great pair to work together, or collaborators, or friends. The science of black holes shows that when we are on the event horizon of the dark mother, everything we have known or think we are starts to destabilize, wobble, and fall apart. And I should mention, I am still going through that in my own way. We are doing it collectively and individually. So I am not someone who's on the other side. I'm just someone who's moving through and like building some bridges and boats for us to move through this water into the big ocean abyss. I'm here to step into the abyss with you, not to get you to some side that I'm on. Going over the edge feels like a form of dying to who we thought we were. But this soulful menstruation process also renews us in order to birth the beauty of who we truly are. Life is a beautiful holographic mirror that reflects all we are back to us in order to restore wholeness. Inside the black hole, the laws of physics as we know them no longer apply. In the quantum birthing field, we are not limited by time, space, or causal consequences. We are in a radiant, renewing field of miracles. It is not a linear journey. It is a spiral journey. This journey will take you to point zero to 0 point over and over again, but at a higher spiral. Eventually, you will become immersed in womb consciousness, the renewing now. You will learn to flow with and ride the wild waves of life force, this dynamic creative force known as Shakti. These oceanic waves will flow you onto the shore of a magical feminine dimension that lives within. Ultimately, no belief is real, only love is real. The great womb will awaken you into pure love. This is the image on the adjacent page. So I just want to welcome you. Thank you for choosing to say yes to this journey that you're on. Thank you for allowing yourself to feel destabilized, wobbled, to feel a sense of falling apart. Thank you for allowing yourself to sense and perceive that there is something more than this moment. And thank you for navigating these waters with me.